Alright guys, thank you so much for coming back to the 19 Alligators YouTube channel. Welcome in Gator Nation. Today I have a pretty cool and important video because I was in Copenhagen about a week and a half ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. And I wanted to share with you some, fun memories that I had. Sorry that this video has taken me so long. I think that if you've spoken to me at all in the last week, you will know why that is. Um, this is what I like to call the No Rules Book Top 10. Okay. Now, you're like, what the hell is a no rules book, right? So basically, when I went to Copenhagen, I took an empty sketchbook and I asked people to write in it. And the point was that anyone could write in it. There were no rules about what you could write, where you wrote it, or how many times you could write in the book. And my hope was that I could kind of create something a little bit more interesting than just a bunch of signatures. Because also, like, I don't want to be like a fan, Like I want to just like talk to people and like get to know them. And if I'm like, "Can I have your autograph?" then it's like, man, I'm like putting myself in a box where we're going to have the same interaction over and over again, and that's exhausting for me personally. So I wanted to, like stretch the boundaries of the interactions that I could have with all of the people that I met and such. Great. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into our top 10. Starting off at number 10, we have /P. Um, I need to know what this says. Are alligators what? Like, please tell me. Like, I have to know, right? 'Cause, like, what if it's something like so wise and I'll just never know what it says? And then below it, it also says good videos, and I wasn't sure, like, I couldn't really match the handwriting, so I wasn't sure if that was also /P or if someone else just wrote that very close. Um, but if it was you, thank you, and if it wasn't you, thank you to whoever wrote it. That's very kind. Moving on to number 9. This one was definitely just done by my friends, but I forget exactly who drew it. Um, I'm thinking that it was maybe Nova. Um, this is one of the first entries that we had, obviously, because it was like the first night I was there. Um, and I think like a day later or something, I was consulted with regard to the name and pronouns of this stick figure cat. Um, that probably wasn't so wise because now we've created like a non-binary cat that's a stick figure whose chosen name is Squidward, which seems like it could be somehow kinky. So, like, maybe, let someone else choose the name next time, but, like, that's okay. I think he's a silly guy. Um, anyway, moving on to number 8. So, when I talked to Zigzag, he seemed thrilled by the idea that he could write anything that he wanted in this book. Um, And the funny thing was that he didn't even like think about what he was gonna write. Like he took the book and just started writing, like not even like a thought required. Um, and I like the sentiment, and I also like that I was able to go up to Jeff later and be like, "Hey, you know what Zigzag wrote in my book?" And then I had like an in and like something to talk about, so that made it easier for me. And so like I really appreciate that, Zigzag. Um, I was quite scared to approach you because you did seem like you had a line of people waiting to talk to you, and I was like, nah, I'm not like them. Um, so, but yeah, it was a really funny interaction, and he did say, "Are you the dog breed video one?" Um, we gotta have like a counter for that on this list, how many people said that to me. So that's number 1. Moving on to number 7, Consus. This was just like a very sweet interaction, and so I had to include this. Because you could tell that he was like, he was very like curious about the concept of the No Rules book. Um, and he wrote, "Just want to wish you a good day," and that was so nice. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Um, so yeah, that's coming in at number 7 because I just thought it was really sweet. Number 6, we have Atrocity GeoGuessr. Um, I think that this individual really expanded the bounds of the No Rules book and just like really stretched the limits in ways that other people didn't, particularly with the writing as many times as you want in here. And now I'm not so sure if some of these might be forged because there was a good 15 minutes where I was sitting at the other end of a table at a bar from like Atrocity, Macam, Jamabi, and some other people, and they had the book over there for like 15 minutes, and I think that they were trying to forge each other's like autographs, and so I don't actually know like which ones were actually written by this person and which ones were written by some other people around, but that's okay. I think that it still is definitely worth the entry in here because it was quite funny and a lot of these entries happened at like very separate occasions and I just kept like running into them and then they would write another autograph in the book and it was like really funny. Um Finally, I hope that Atrocity and A True are the same person. I tried to like match the handwriting and gauge that they were the same person, but if they're not, shout out to whoever A True also is, because you also wrote in here a lot, so much appreciated. Alright, moving into number 5, we have an anonymous submission. Now, I have no idea who wrote this, so if you wrote this, let me know. Hop into the comments and let a guy know. I find it quite ominous, but at the same time true, so I think maybe a lot of us needed to hear this. Um, it's a lot of wisdom that can be applied to GeoGuessr, I think, and so I really appreciate that sentiment, especially going into the World Championships. Just like, you know what? Hell yeah. Like, yeah, for sure. All right. Next entry is another anonymous submission. Again, I really wish that I know who wrote this. Um, but again, a different sentiment, maybe not as ominous, but wise nonetheless, you know? How many dingbats can a dingbat ding if a dingbat can ding dingbats? Now, do I think it should end with can ding bats instead of ding dingbats? Because the ding is like a little redundant. Like, yeah, but like I think that like what you need to get out of it is there. Um, and I think it's just like a really good entry to have. So if you wrote this, let me know because I would love to credit you for your wise words. Um, Moving into our top 3. Number 3, we have eating horses. Now, this guy makes the list because both what he wrote in my book was just like very kind, but also like I talked to him for quite a bit on a few occasions and he was just like such a sweet dude. Um, and I did let him know that we saw his zigzag merch and followed him all the way from like the city center to the meetup on the bus, because we didn't really know where to go. Um, Again, sorry for that. Um, but it was quite helpful to us. Um, but he wrote, "Dear Diary, today I'm at Sky, best day of my life." What do you mean, best day of your life? That's so kind. That's so kind. Um, anyway, this guy was just like so kind to talk to and funny as well, and so I just like had a good time and wanted to mention him in here. Um, Number 2. Okay, so for this one, it's Project Bloom, and I may be a little bit biased, but he wrote an entire quote in here, so I feel like it deserves recognition. Um, So he came up to me first and he wrote his name, but then he was like, I'm gonna find you later so that I can cook something up. Um, and he did. He came up to me later and he's like, "Hey, give me the book." And he sat down at the table and he wrote out this really wonderful quote that I think I needed to share with all of you so you can take what you need from it. Um, this is a wise man, so you gotta take wisdom where you can get it. Whether one dilly-dallies from enlightenment or ignorance doesn't change the beauty or importance of the dilly-dallying. And that's a Project Bloom original. So take what you need from that. I hope that resonates with you. And now we're going to move into the number one entry in the No Rules book. So this entry, this conversation, this interaction was so funny to me. I was cracking up. I had a great time. Um, so I went up to Kratzu and he was like, OMG, 19 alligators, aren't you the dog breed video one? And you're from Pennsylvania. And I was like, I get the dog breed video one, but like, how do you know I was from Pennsylvania? And he's like, oh, after I saw the dog breed video, I like clicked on your Discord profile. And I was like, that's fair. That checks. I will just talk about what's written because it might be kind of hard to parse, but don't worry, I can kind of translate for you. So the first line right here, it says, "Buy me a beer, please." And then he was like, "Oh, you're American, so I'm going to teach you French." And so then he started attempting to write "Buy me a beer, please" in French, but then he like messed it up, I guess. Um, and then he was like, "Oh, like I can never I can never speak French when I'm drunk. I can only speak English." Um, and I was like, "Isn't like French your first language?" And he was like, "Yeah, but like when I get drunk, I can only speak English." Um, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, fair enough." Um, And then after he was done writing "Buy me a beer, please," in English and in French, then he drew this, and then he's like, "That's a dog." But then he kind of realized that I guess it doesn't look like a dog, and so then he drew an arrow and he said, "He's a dog," just so like everyone would know and such. Um, and then we were talking for a little bit, and then he saw the entry right above him, which was Consus's entry previously mentioned on this list, and he saw that Consus had written in there, and then he was like, oh my god, Consus's in here? That's literally the goat. And then he drew an arrow to Consus's name and wrote the goat. Um, yeah, bro was hilarious to talk to, and I do want to mention that it's worth noting he was holding a full cup of beer throughout that entire conversation. So it's just like, you know what, King? You're kind of awesome. Like, that's so fire. Um, so yeah, that was like number one entry just because it was so layered, incredible, original. And so I had to put it at number one here. So last thing I want to do, I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short. I want to give shout outs um to just like some of the people I met and like got to have like good conversations with. Um like y'all were genuinely so nice and I had a wonderful time and I want to say that. First of all, Ground Jordan, you're incredibly funny and you gave me some much needed advice for my YouTube channel that I should try to add more metal pipe sound effects. So, we'll see what I can do about that. Um, and then Eating Horses, I just want to shout out you again because you were very sweet and it was like very nice that you just came up to me and all my friends and just like started talking with us and it was very like kind and wonderful. Next I want to shout out Roticity and J Elf because you are like my Bloomcourt celebrities that I wanted to meet and it was so cool to meet you both and you guys are so sweet as well. So those are my next shout outs. Other shout outs I wanted to make were for some people that I met while I was there that I didn't know previously. A little lost. I don't know if you want your first name on the internet, so I'm just using your like name that was on your name tag. And then Tati as well. Both of you were so kind. And it was lovely to meet you both. And I'm glad that you guys were able to meet some of my little friend group as well. And you know, Nice to meet you both, and I hope I see you again. Um, Next as well, I want to shout out Rihanna and Duck because I went to a little gay chord meetup and they were both so kind to me and made us feel very like included and welcomed and stuff like that. And it was very nice to talk to you both. Um, then the next is kind of a bigger shout out for all of like the pros slash casters that I had a chance to have like real conversations with instead of just like a hello, can you sign this? So that's Jake, that's Dallin, that's Finbar, Bloom, Harrier, and Debre. Like all of you were very kind to talk to, and it was really good to meet you all. Um, and yeah, like I feel like you guys are just very nice people, and um, like I was glad that I got to have like a real conversation instead of just like like the pleasantries kind of thing. Okay, next is all of the dog breed video enjoyers. I genuinely, when I went there, I was not expecting the pure number of people that knew about that video. And so at first it kind of scared me, and I was like, oh God, like what have I done? And then I kind of had a moment where I was like, you know what, this is actually quite convenient because now I can like feel better to talk to people and not be as scared. Because like they already kind of like know my personality, I guess, a little bit. Um, and like, was it a diabolical video to make? Absolutely. Um, so like, I don't know if I can top that in the future, but we'll see what my brain cooks up. Um, and then the last thing is, I think this is like so funny, but kind of awesome, is I have recently achieved the milestone of having 50 subscribers. And that's like so it's so like hilarious but also kind of wonderful because like to me this YouTube channel is like just for funsies. It's like my funny little thing that I do when I get bored and I have an idea. But like the fact that like even though it's like just my friends mostly that they're like commenting and like liking the video and like talking about it, it makes me so happy because it's like OMG, you guys like my personality and like the things that go on in my brain. So like it's very sweet. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that. Um, Again, I don't know if there will be like other videos. Well, there'll probably be other videos because I have all the free time in the world right now. But I don't know when they'll be. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that I met in Copenhagen, as well as all 50 of my subscribers here at Gator Nation. Um, Gator Nation is growing, and it's really magical to see, and I really appreciate you all sticking around for this journey. That's all I have for the video today, so I'm gonna end it out here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want um, completely irregular uploads, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.